Hello and welcome to China Shortcuts.
The European Chamber's weekly catch-up on China's business landscape.
This episode was recorded on 21st January 2026. China recorded a record $1.2 trillion trade surplus with the rest of the world in 2025, according to data published by the Chinese General Administration of Customs. Chinese exports grew by 5.5% year-on-year, while imports from the rest of the world remained flat, registering 0.0% growth in value terms relative to 2024.
China's strong export growth was in part driven by a rise in export to ASEAN and the EU, which grew by 13.4% and 8.4% year-on-year respectively in 2025. China's strong export performance has also sparked concerns among key Chinese trade partners, including the EU and several of its member states, relating to the challenge that Chinese imports may pose to their industrial competitiveness.
By contrast, following bilateral trade tensions remaining high for much of the year, Chinese exports to the US fell by 20% in 2025, compared to a year prior. Disparity was also seen at the product level, with semiconductor and chip exports recording particularly strong growth, increasing by 26.8% and 26.7% year-on-year in value terms. Conversely, Chinese toy and furniture exports, two areas where the US has historically been a key market, declined by 12.7% and 6.1% year-on-year in value terms.
Imports to China from the rest of the world remained flat overall in 2025, recording 0.0% growth relative to a year prior. At the product level, imports of high-tech products grew by 9.3% in value terms. At the other end of the spectrum, Chinese imports of automobile vehicles and chassis sharply declined, falling by 39.7%. With this a reflection of the fierce competition that companies operating in the sector, which is highly oversaturated, face.
As a result of its strong export performance, China achieved its target of recording around 5% GDP growth in 2025, as set out at the 2025 two sessions, hitting that target exactly.
Growth was uneven throughout the year. China registered a significantly higher GDP growth rate in the first two quarters of 2025, coming in at 5.4% and 5.2% respectively. This compared to a rate of 4.8% in Q3 and then 4.5% in the final quarter of the year, as China recorded its lowest quarterly GDP growth since Q1 2023.
Data released by China's National Bureau of Statistics on the 19th of January shows China recorded strong industrial production growth in December 2025, with factory output increasing by 5.2% compared to a year prior.
Production output increased in 33 out of 41 surveyed sectors, with the computer, communication, and other electronic equipment manufacturing sector, as well as the automobile manufacturing industry, seeing particularly strong growth of 11.8% and 8.3% respectively in the last months of the year. This slowdown was in no small part due to a drop in the value of automotive sales.
At a State Council executive meeting on the 16th of January, Chinese Premier Li Qiang announced that the country's authorities are currently in the process of drafting a 5-year plan on expanding consumption, as well as an income growth plan for urban and rural residents. The publication will mark the first time that the central government has published a standalone plan centered on either of these themes.
The development follows there having long been a mismatch between supply and demand growth in the Chinese economy, with this having contributed to overproduction in key sectors as well as falling factory gate prices.
The European Chamber launched its most important advocacy initiative, the Business Confidence Survey, or BCS, on the 15th of January.
The BCS provides the most accurate picture of European business sentiment towards the China market and plays a key role in shaping the Chamber's advocacy messaging for the coming year.
February 13th is the last day to fill out the survey. Members that complete the survey will be entered into a lucky draw, with 12 prizes on offer.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune in again next week.
In the meantime, please find useful links in the episode notes.